Hi, hello, welcome to One Minfin. Let's decode GDP, Gross Domestic Product. In every economic forum or economic newspapers, we see the term GDP, and every time we wonder actually what it is. But it says it is a measure to compare various nations' economic growth and also to compare past and present growth of a country. That means if a country with a larger GDP have greater amount of goods and services generated within them and have higher standard of living. Or in other words, we can say a GDP growth of a country is interchangeably says as the economic growth of it, and if a country has healthy GDP, then it says a country has healthy economy. But critics says GDP is the wrong tool for measuring what it matters. Since World War II, most countries around the world have come to use GDP as the core metric for prosperity. But striving to grow GDP is not the same as ensuring the well-being of the society, because GDP doesn't account for the underground economy and the sustainable growth. Still, almost all economies uses it as a core metric. And the definition says GDP is the market value or monetary value of all finished goods and services produced within a country in a year. A product value is added to the GDP when it is sold to its end customer. Final consumption only matters. Capital goods also added to the GDP, and goods should be produced within the country. That is, only exported goods and services added to the GDP, not the imported one. Economics says ideal GDP growth or healthy GDP growth should be between 2.5% to 3.5%, because growth should not be too fast. It creates a bubble which leads to recession when it bursts, and slowing down or negative GDP leads to a recession, that is layoffs, unemployment, declining business revenues and consumer spending. Then what are the types of GDP? There is nominal GDP, real GDP and real GDP per capita. Nominal GDP doesn't show real picture of the growth of the country, as inflation doesn't consider while calculating this. And in real GDP, inflation considers, calculates on base year concepts and shows a clear picture. Still, it is not considering the population growth. But the real GDP per capita, which considers population too. What is India's scenario in GDP? Nearly 60% of India's GDP by its domestic private consumption. India remains world's sixth largest consumer market. And as per National Statistical Office, India's GDP growth rate is 8.4%. Yes, Indian economy growing too fast. Now, please do one self-exercise for understanding more. Take one GDP growth chart of India and analyze it. Then, how to calculate GDP? There are various methods and ways for it. Expenditure method, production-based method, income-based method. But most widely and commonly used is expenditure approach or expenditure method. Its formula is consumption plus government spending plus investment plus net export, means export minus import. And finally says GDP may not be a perfect metric because it all calculations made upon based on the data available to the government. Okay friends, thank you for watching the video. I hope all you have got understand the concept of GDP I have tried to explain it in very simple terms. And thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.